That's ugly, man. Don't do that again.
I think some people over here had too much.
Oh my God.
That happens too. Anyhow, I got my little guy up here this year, so it's going to be kind of a situation. But anyhow, I really appreciate everybody coming out. Beautiful day. I mean, great turnout this year. I mean, we had a lot of golfers. Not as many as we normally have. So, I mean, this has been something cool so far for me. I'm just going to get right into it. The question this year is, how did we get here? Technically speaking, the earliest known description of cancer appears in the 7 papyri, discovered in the late 19th century. They provided the first direct knowledge of the Egyptian medical practice, and it also contains descriptions of cancer written around 1600 BC and believed to date sources back to 2500 BC. The papyrus itself describes 8 cases of ulcers of the breast that were treated by cauterization with a tool called the fire drill. The writing also describes that there is no treatment. Winter 2013, Children's Hospital of Michigan. Sometimes you wonder if all the pain from all the treatment is really worth it. All the crying, all the sleepless nights, the screaming from whatever the day's issue was. And you realize that yes, it's all worth it to have your child with you. The little bundle of joy you brought home from the hospital smiling and happy is most definitely worth it. The thing you're really questioning as a parent is, am I doing all that I can? Am I taking my child to the right doctor? Am I getting the right treatment? The word cancer is actually Latin. It was translated from the Greek word carcinos, meaning crab or crayfish. DJ was diagnosed the day after Thanksgiving 2013 with leukemia. I could name the exact type, but it's not relevant. What we heard that day was when he was diagnosed that our son had cancer. That word can cause such a pall over a room, and rightfully so. What we're to do, what does this mean? How do we answer the questions DJ has about ourselves, and we don't even fully understand what the doctors are telling us? I still remember the scared look DJ had in the ER room at Children's Hospital. I remember thinking, how did this happen? How did we get here? Why? These questions brought a lot of things over the previous few months into focus. Roughly 10,000 children a year in the United States under the age of 15 will be diagnosed with cancer this year, 2014. Childhood cancer rates have been rising slightly over the past few decades. Walking down the halls on 6 West at Children, it hits you. You're not the only parent going through this. Every closed door to a room has a story to tell, and every day a new round of kids and their families shuffle through those doors. Some nights will jar you from sleep to hear a child screaming in pain. Some days you will pass a family member crying in grief. Other days you see a child smiling because he gets to go home. Just for now. Time in the hospital for a child with cancer isn't measured in days, it's measured in finger pokes, blood draws, and blood level goals. Every bit of interaction with the hospital staff hinges on hope and good news. Because that means your son or daughter will have one less bandage to take off later. One less test to endure. One less round of something to keep them there. The causes of most childhood cancers are not known. Cancers in children, like adults, are thought to develop as a result of mutations in genes that lead to uncontrolled cell growth, which causes cancer. In adults, these gene mutations are often the result of exposure to environmental factors, such as cigarette smoke, asbestos, or ultraviolet radiation from the sun. However, environmental causes of childhood cancer have been difficult to identify, partly because cancer in children is rare, and partly because it's difficult to determine what children might have been exposed to in their development. DJ is a big kid for his age and always has been. He had just started first grade in 2013 and was excited to be around new friends and have a new teacher that he really liked. He loved playing at recess and came home with normal battle wounds that playground dishes out at the elementary level. He would come home all smiles and show off the new bruises, bumps, scrapes he earned that day and explain that he was okay. Every so often he would complain that his legs were sore and that we would ask what his doctor could do, and he suggested he's a big boy, it's just growing pains, and it was just that. A few weeks later, after several fevers, more pains, and another doctor visit denied, this time we decided to try an urgent care. This doctor also suspected something. She looked at his bruises on his legs, as every other doctor had, the bump on his head, and took an x-ray and gave him 2 antibiotics. Nothing appeared on the x-ray, and she was sure it wasn't just a bug, that it was being more resilient to one kind of antibiotic, hence the double prescription, and yet things seemed to be improving. As the weather got cooler, DJ was feeling better, and we were packing our house to move our new home. The movers were scheduled to be at our house at 7:30 a.m. the day of Thanksgiving, so we all had a lot of work to do. Packing, cleaning, etc. Every night we'd go to bed tired, exhausted, and sore. When DJ couldn't move anymore from being sore, we attributed it to being tired from the move. The Thanksgiving tradition in our family has always been to go to Frankenmuth for the past 10 years. It's a nice way to get in the holiday spirit and have some great food without having to turn the kitchen upside down. Dinner was excellent as always, and everyone was enjoying the evening. The waitress came to the table and asked what our dessert choices were, and DJ's eyes lit up. Orange sherbet ice cream. He tore into that little dish of ice cream like it was the last scoop in the universe. As we sat there looking over the empty ice cream dish in front of us, DJ let out a blood-chilling scream. My legs. Oh my God, my legs. Again, as a parent, you start to think, hey, he's causing a scene, quiet. But he wouldn't stop. We had just brought him a pair of new shoes the week before, and they weren't broken in yet. I told my wife that I was going to take him out of the car as people now staring at the tantrum that he was having. He screamed that he was too sore to walk, so I ended up carrying him out of the restaurant and into the car. He went into the back seat and put his head down. He was warm again. The movers showed up on time the next day. It was a huge undertaking, and we weren't truly ready to move as we were still packing the morning of. My wife decided to make an appointment with the doctor, of all days, moving day. But he had an opening at 2 p.m. that afternoon. I was directing the movers, my wife was packing, and DJ and his sister Madeline were at their grandma's house so they wouldn't be in the way of the movers. Things were going fine. 4:15 p.m. the same day. I was at the new home, and the movers were now unloading the moving trailer. I was directing them where to put things. It was hard thinking where everything should go that my wife and I had discussed. The phone rings again. The Dr. Henry Ford is calling an ambulance to have DJ to go to Children's Hospital. His white blood counts are not right, and he thinks it could be something serious, possibly leukemia. That was the first time we'd heard that diagnosis, and of course it couldn't be that. In the middle of unloading the trailer, I had to have my mother take over directing the movers and follow the ambulance down to Children's Hospital in Detroit. That's when things all started to sink in. Dr. Taub is DJ's primary doctor, but more importantly, he's DJ's friend. Someone we can understand DJ is going through it and help him deal with the pain and stress of the magic trick and the correct regimen of chemotherapy. Then there's Catherine, his nurse, who makes him smile every time he sees her. She's a great fit for DJ. His personality, and she knows exactly what to say and get him comfortable on clinic days. A hero refers to characters who, in the face of danger or adversity from a position of weakness, display courage and the will for self-sacrifice. That is, heroism for some greater good of all humanity. As mentioned earlier, DJ was a little tank. 80 pounds of rough and tumble. He would laugh when he fell down, cuts and bruises, and badges of courage. On the flip side, he wasn't used to taking any kind of medicine, whether they were liquid, pills, or dissolved tablets. If he had something to take, it was a half-hour drama and bargaining that would make the UAW proud. All DJ wanted to do with his days was talk about and play with Legos and his trains because he wants to be a train engineer when he grows up. He has several Lionel trains and working on an HO scale that we bought him. In school, he was a class talker. Always wanted to be everyone's friend, especially his teacher, Miss Pasquale. He excelled in all of his studies and was happy-go-lucky kid. He loved playing baseball and was looking forward to playing soccer in the spring. He's just an average all-American boy. Flash forward January 2014. And here he is laying in a hospital bed, 30 pounds lighter, and 2 months into treatment, barely able to move. Getting news that his port is infected and has to be removed. He cried every night to come home because he didn't want to be in the hospital anymore. Over Christmas, he was so weak that we would wake up to hear him screaming in terror, only to find out he just wanted his head to be turned because he was too weak to turn it himself. Again, we thought to ourselves, how did we get here? Through all of this, DJ has persevered. He has overcome a lot of his fears and anxieties and is starting to get back to the rough and tumble little guy we're used to. His body, mind, and soul has gone through a tremendous transformation over the last 8 months. One that I would never wish upon anyone. And yet he's conquering this monster day by day. Needle poke by needle poke, infusion by infusion. This is why DJ is our hero. And this is how we got here. At this time, I would like to present the Urimi family. DJ, everybody. I'd like to thank Dennis, the father, for co-authoring this speech. Most of what you just heard was his words directly. Nearly 20 years ago this month, a lump was discovered on my neck that would change the course of not only my life, but the lives of everyone around me. My dream is to one day stand here, and whether it's through treatment, prevention, or eradication, give one final address on cancer. Until then, I would like to thank each and every one of you here today. While we may not have the cure, we can make a difference. Your presence today has shown incredible support, kindness, and most importantly, hope to a wonderful family, albeit one we only just met. This is our gift. I'd like to thank a couple of special things. I'd like to thank my wife, Jen. Without her, no gift. Carolyn Pope for a gracious donation. And my bosses, Tom, Melissa Jenkins. She's battling melanoma herself right now, but still very kind and willing to help here. And of course, both of my families, the Osentoskis and the Duponts. Without you two, that's it. So, anyhow,
With that in mind, we've got some special gifts for some special people today. So DJ, we want to present you with 2 special gifts. This is the first one. Someone told us that DJ really likes trains and he really likes Legos.
Really like Lego.
Well, that's a good fit, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one, DJ. And we've got one more heavy one for you there.
Alex, help out.
Very heavy. And because DJ likes trains so much, we also got him another train set. This is a Boy Scouts Lionel train set. And while DJ is our special little man here today, we can only imagine that this is very, very much a family situation. And we know that Madeline has been very patient and supportive of her brother. So we also want to present Madeline with a special gift today, too. We heard Madeline really likes to read, so we're presenting her with an iPad mini today so she can read on her new device. Or even, yeah, we heard DJ got one and Madeline really liked it, so thank you. Thank you to everyone for your support to help purchase these gifts.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you're tired of hearing from me, but I got one more thing to say. If I could get the Engelbrand family to join me up here for just a second. Everybody remembers Eli from 2 years ago. Everybody remembers the bracelet. We believe. Well, Eli is back. He's been here. He was here last year too. But Eli is back, and as of July 29th, Eli is officially no evidence of disease. And we went back on our promise, and we got something for you.